Right. Meanwhile, let's talk about the rising COVID cases in the country. The COVID cases in India are topping 25,000. This is the highest weekly tally, and this is the highest in nearly 3 months. 45% higher than the previous weekly tally. So, more than 4,500 COVID cases have been recorded. If you look at the numbers coming in over the last 24 hours, the COVID positivity rate now currently stands at 1.62%. But what is heartening is that the number of deaths continue to remain extremely low. The Maharashtra cabinet, meanwhile, is currently holding this meeting. And of course, we've been reporting about how there has been a huge spike in COVID cases in Maharashtra. A meeting has taken place. The spike in cases in the country, of course, is primarily being driven by the numbers getting reported from two states, and those are Maharashtra and Kerala. But now, with COVID cases on the rise, fears are once again back that the virus is going to play SpoilSport for the entertainment business. Remember, during the first time around that we've had the COVID wave, we've had the lockdown, cinema halls and the entire service sector, why just cinema halls? The entire service sector had been the worst hit among all the sectors. Let's find out where things stand currently. Kamal Gianchandani is the CEO of PVR Pictures and the president of the Multiplex Association of India. He's joining us to help us understand how cinema halls are now preparing from what is turning out to be the fourth wave, as it were. Great to have you with us. Do tell us how things have recovered, but now there seems to be a bit of a hit. Mr. Gianchandani, is this really true? How much of a hit are you seeing at the box office with these newfound COVID fears emerging?
Vikram, thanks for having me. Before I answer your question on the increase in COVID cases, let me tell you that the last 5 months, including May in 2022, have been phenomenal months for the box office. The kind of business that we've seen has exceeded even the most optimistic expectations that the exhibitors had. So starting March, when Gangubai, Valamai, Chund, Kashmir Files, RRR, all of these films started releasing as per the regular schedule. Moviegoers were back in theaters in big numbers, and as a result, the kind of business we've seen in March is the highest that we have seen in the history of PVR cinemas as well as in the history of Indian cinema. Now, that said, with that as a backdrop, I think various state governments that we've been in touch with, including Maharashtra, including Delhi, and similarly many other state governments, our sense is that the governments have decided that the economy has to coexist with the pandemic. And this is a view which has not just been taken in India by the state government, but this is also a common view that you would find in other, more developed Western economies like UK, US, and many other countries in Europe, where cases have been going up and down with various waves. But the governments have taken a conscious call that the economy and the businesses will have to function or can function without any restrictions. We feel extremely confident, with the safety protocols that we put in place and, the work that the government and the health ministry has done so far, various state governments as well as the central government. We feel fairly confident that we would be as a business and with the guidance and support of government, we would be able to contain this, the rise that we are witnessing in cases at this point. We would be able to contain it. And I think the silver lining, as you rightly mentioned, is that there is no increase in hospitalization. And fortunately, the fatalities are quite low, which gives us confidence that there is no restriction that one should expect in business. So that's on one side. As far as what is the situation of the consumer confidence, as we speak, if you look at the live tracking of the box office, this weekend, Prithviraj, Vikram, Major, these were the three major releases. Major is the name of the title, but these were the three big films which released in theaters. All have done extremely well over the weekend. And today, which is the Monday, which is usually the real test for all films, whether they're holding well at the box office, all three films continue to hold really well, especially Vikram, which has turned out to be a blockbuster. Kamal Hassan has come back with a bang. Film has done roaring business, is doing literally 85-90% occupancies. So the consumer sentiment is extremely positive. People want to come out to theaters. They feel very comfortable with the safety protocols which have been put in place by the theaters and various other business enterprises.
Yes.
We are absolutely confident there will be no impact on the business.
So when you talk about consumer sentiment and you look at the patterns of them coming to the theatre, enjoying the entire experience, or even the kind of movies that have been successes or not as big successes, how is the change that you see when it comes to consumer taste in the way they behave once they're at the theatre? This is after things have opened up. Is there a change palpable? Because a lot of OTTs are also talking about falling subscriptions. So one wonders about the kind of quality of entertainment that is going out and perhaps a change that is palpable.
You know, I'll make 3 points in response to your question. The first point is that I think consumers continue to welcome all sorts of films at the theater, be it different languages, be it different genres, be it different sizes. So if you look at the pattern of successes that we've had at the box office, Gangubai, which was targeting the multiplex audience, did extremely well. In fact, it exceeded expectations. Kashmir Files, content-driven film, character-driven film, you know, with full respect to the star cast, we didn't have any, we had familiar faces, but these are not faces, you know, which have had, you know, a strong track record of box office successes. And in spite of that, the film turned out to be a huge, massive blockbuster at the box office. RRR, you know, coming from Rajamouli sir, you know, it had blockbuster written on his face. The day when the first motion picture poster was launched, to the day when the trailer was launched, everyone expected it to do well. Again, it exceeded expectations. It was your usual commercial potboiler.
Right.
But it had all the elements that Mr. Rajamouli is known for.
Yes.
KGF, an out-and-out action flick, you know, with a lot of parallels to the kind of cinema that we've seen in 1980s and 1990s.
True.
Very heroic, larger than life.
Yes.
Exceeded all expectations.
And perhaps those were the kind of movies that the audiences were missing the most, Mr. Gianchandani. It's something that audiences were craving to back for because, yes, OTT does give you an experience. It's a very different kind of experience from that community feeling that theatres afford. But clearly, audiences want more of that. Are the fears going to be real as they were in the last phase when the service sector took such a major hit? That still remains to be seen, whether the entire sentiment is back and whether newer waves of COVID are going to keep audiences at bay, whether they're going to be more precautionary or not. These are still early days and we'll keep tracking it and keep coming in and checking in with you. Kamal Gianchandani, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective on this. And with that, it's going to be a wrap on this edition of India Tonight. Of course, all the stories, all the big ones, all the little tidbits that we always get for you here on the show will continue throughout weeknights. So make it a point to join us at 8 o'clock, even right now. We're leaving you with all the big national stories that we couldn't pack into the show. But of course, we'll see you same time tomorrow. We'll see you then. Have a great night and keep it with us.